Hello everybody. I'm making a video. I'm showing my model boat I've been building. This boat is like a river towboat that pushes barges up and down the river. I've had a lot of people have been asking me about it, wanting to see videos of it and stuff. But the boat, keep in mind the boat's nowhere near completed. I got a lot to do yet. But just giving a highlight of what's going on. The boat is 23 inches wide and 55 inches long. It started out as a 4x8 sheet of 1/4 inch birch plywood. Like I say, it's all scratch built. I have no instructions for it. Everything's just all out of my head. But anyways, let's just go ahead and do an overall picture or shot of the boat. I got the upper deck section is off the boat because I've been working on the inside of it. But the lower hull still needs to be filled, sanded, sealed, and glassed. It's going to get fiberglassed over. And please ignore my stupid grandfather clock. It decided to go off when I'm doing my video. But anyways, as you can see here, I got cleats mounted on the deck, what I call the hurricane deck. And this wall here, that's all mounted to the deck and it's sealed. Because the water line on these kind of boats comes up quite a bit on the models, or on the real ones. And to get the same effect, I got to kind of seat it down in the water so it looks real. But when that happens, the water can splash over here and get into here. That's the reason why that first deck walls, or hurricane deck, is sealed. So no water gets in the boat. Water would have to actually go over top of this wall to get into the boat. So it would have to go almost 4 inches from here to here. Then plus it has to go up however much further up the side of the boat here. So it'd take a pretty good sized wave to get in the boat. But even at that, when the upper deck is attached on here, it's really close fit. So, I mean, if any water did get in it, it probably wouldn't be much. But the inside of the boat is sealed with epoxy. All the wood is sealed. So if it does get wet inside, it's not going to hurt nothing. But anyways, let's go back here. This video might be in 2 parts. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But all these stairs are all hand scratch built, and all the railing is brass solid rod, all soldered in place. I got some painting done on the boat, just trying to get ahead on the painting project because it's going to be a monster project for all the paint. Now this boat, it has 2 800 size DC brushed electric motors. And you can see I got universal joints sitting on there. And they got cooling coils I made out of 1/8 inch aluminum tubing. That tube, before I wrapped it around these motors, was 3 feet long. So each cooling coil, each motor, has a 3-foot long cooling coil wrapped around them. And those are going to tee together, and they're going to get fed with real antifreeze. And it's going to have a little pump. It's going to pump the antifreeze through the coils. Then it's going to come out of the coils, and the antifreeze is going to go through this radiator I made. This is a brass radiator. It's all been soldered together, and I painted it, so that's why it's black, of course. And I got the hose stuck on there just to keep the crap and stuff out of the radiator. It's got inlet and outlet. And I made this 1/8 inch plywood shroud, because back here it's got a 12-volt fan, and it's going to be on a little temperature sensor, so I'm going to have to figure out what temperature I'm going to set it at. But there'll be thermistors on the motors, and when it reaches a certain temperature, it'll turn on the pump and the cooling fan. So it's just to keep the motors from getting too hot. Now for driving this thing around, let me take some of these things out of the way so they don't fall on the floor. So I'm going to pick this up. These are what they call shuttle drives. take the servo off of there. I had to order these from overseas. I couldn't find anybody in the U.S. that had them. But anyways, they're going to get linked together. There's a push rod. I'm still figuring out the linking system yet. But those are going to get linked together, and the motors turn these front shafts here, and that turns the actual props. And this little thing here actually turns the lower units. And I'll show you what we got here as far as the lower units. Okay, here's what we got for our lower units. These are shuttle drives. There's two of them. As you can see, I'm going to turn this other one because they're not linked together. They just kind of flop around. But these whole entire units, they spin. And these shuttle drives, they'll do more, or they'll turn sharper than 90 degrees. It's more like that far they'll turn. And when they're linked together, they'll both turn the same direction, like so. So these will enable the boat to turn within its own length. It's just really, really sharp turning system. Now these props are 3-inch props. One's a left rotation, one's a right rotation. And the reason why they're mounted on this wooden plate, this plate is what I call my power deck. The motors are going to get mounted on this, and my radiator fan shroud assembly is going to get mounted on there. And like I just had the motors up on there. And those will hook up to those. I got more universal joints coming for this end, and these are 1/4-inch diameter shafts on the motors. And I believe the ones on the shuttle drives, I think these are 4mm. But I had to, because of the angle difference, I have to use universal joints because these shuttle drives sit pretty low down to the deck, and I cannot get the motors down lower than that. They'll be they'll stick on the bottom of the boat. So that's why I had to use universal joints. But anyways, let's look at some of the other stuff here. There's a smoke unit I got in here, and it's got this copper tube, the T-fitting, so it's got 2 smokestacks on the boat. So one tube sticks out each smokestack, and you just put fluid in there and you hook it up for 12 volts. So you hook it up to the 12 volts and it warms up, and it's got that little fan there that sucks air into the unit and blows it out the copper tubes. So the smoke really just shoots up out here pretty good. But that will be hooked up to a speed controller. So when I advance the throttles for the motors, it'll blow more smoke out. The faster the motors run, the more smoke it'll blow out. And I got some fluid in there I found that actually smells like diesel fuel. So this will smell like a diesel fuel when you smell the smoke. Now, this upper deck, I made these deck lights. These are amber color, because on the real towboats, like on the Ohio River, they seem like they're always yellow. So I put the yellow lights all around here, and all together, just the deck lights, there's going to be 39 deck lights on here, and these are LEDs. But anyways, then like I said, there's more brass railing. I still need to do more work on the railings yet. That's need to be cleaned up, still need to be painted. I still need to put my mid rails on those yet. So I mean, I got a long way to go yet. But just to kind of give you an idea of what all I got done. There's the stairs that go up to the pilot house. There's the pilot house, and I guess the ankle rails, where you want to call them, around the roof of the pilot house. And these are my radar units. I still need to finish those radar heads up because they're not done yet. There's 2 of them, one for a high band, one low band, and physically one is physically taller than the other, and that's the way all the real ones are from what I understand. So now these do turn. These are on little 3-volt geared motors. so they do turn, but I don't have them wired up to run right now. And here is one of my nav lights. I got the other one on the roof on the other side. But the pilot house, each one of these has openings, has an individual acrylic window pane that's custom fit to fit each one. They slide in. The roof just sits on her. So you lift the roof off, you slide them down in there, and set the roof back on. But the inside of this is going to be fully detailed. It's not detailed yet. The windows here are, let me see, those are, I think they're 30 thousandths acrylic plastic, clear plastic windows. And I just scuffed them up on the back side and painted them black. And stuck them in the holes so they're nice and shiny. See how they're like shiny like that? So it looks like it's an actual window. Well, actually it is, but anyways, they're painted black on the inside, and just looks like there's a room there, but the lights are off inside. But anyways, and here's the ones on the bottom part. Now these watertight doors, they don't open up. There's made out of 1/8 inch plywood. They're glued to the side of the boat. I made these little portholes and I painted the holes in there black. And I made my own little simulated hinge detail out of toothpicks and glued them on. It looks like hinges. I still need to put the door handles on them yet. And all my motors, I had to put these noise suppressing capacitors on there because these are brush motors. They emit interference, electrical interference. So you got to do that. Knock down the RF noise interference. So those are on the motors. Now this battery is it's kind of, all the labels upside down. Battery's not upside down though. That's a 12 volt, 14 amp hour sealed AGM glass mat battery, and it's going to have 3 of these. Each motor is going to have its own dedicated battery, and the third battery is going to be for the lighting and the smoke system, and for the cooling system. And the reason why I did that is because when I'm running with the lights on, and if I give the throttle up the motors, I don't want all the lights going to dim on me. I want them to stay the same brightness. But anyways, and over here, here's 3 switches. Those are going to be for the nav light systems and the radars, for the radar light, or radar up on top. That's going to get like a little box over top of it. It'll have a hinge on it. It'll be painted red, and it'll be painted a little label on there called Life Vest. So you won't see the switches. It'll be a box there. Got a lot of stuff to put on the roof yet. I still got to put my searchlights on there, antennas. I still got to make my little ladder going up to the top of there from down here. Now these are sliding doors, sliding glass doors. I decided to go with that just to be a little different, I guess. And they actually do open. They're kind of snug fit, but they do open and they slide closed. Both of them open and close. And let me push the boat around to the other side here so we can get a little bit of the front. Now here's the knees. They're not glued on yet. They got stairs on the back of the knees, and they'll get railings around the top. And those will get glued on. Now on the front of these knees, there's going to be plates in there, and there's going to be a bunch of neodymium magnets in those plates. So when I build my barge, I'll put a steel plate on the back of the barge so they'll magnetically couple to the barges. But anyways, this video is getting to be 14 minutes, so I'm going to have to cut it short here. But anyways, I just want to give everybody an idea of what this project's looking like so far and how it's going. And oh yeah, my stern light, it's got the 2 lamps in the stern light, and that's all scratch built. I couldn't find nobody had one that was what I wanted, so I had to make it. And my smokestack have the vents in the back. Everything scratch built. This is all out of my head, no directions, no instructions. But anyways, if you like it, please subscribe. You can comment, share it, whatever. Just keep watching. I'll be putting more videos on here as time progresses and I get further along. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned and have a good one. Thank you.